Hey everyone, it's Jay checking in with you today. It's a beautiful day here. I'm back in the car again and the windows are down, and as soon as I finish recording this video, we'll be turning the music up as we make our way home. Thanks for checking in today. Here's what I want to talk about this week. We're going to start another little mini-series. This weekend at Harvest Church, we talked about developing or discovering your shape when it comes to ministry, what you've been created for, how to use your spiritual gifts, and where you plug in within the life and the ministry of the church. And so I just thought this week let's talk about that a little bit more in depth, because on Sunday we kind of went through 5 bullet points in the message and kind of gave the generalities of it. And this week I thought we'd come and we would talk about a little bit more in detail how these things play out as we look at ministry. Now, you need to know that I'm a big proponent of people being involved in ministry. I'm not a big fan of staff-led churches in the sense of the hired staff or the designated staff, do everything. I don't agree with that methodology of church functionality. My thing is, we have people in our churches who are incredibly gifted and talented, and their role in the life of the church is to be involved in ministry, and not just to sit back and let the staff or the designated leadership do all the work. So I'm big in the train of thought that says ministry is something for everyone in the church, not just those called into full-time ministry. And with that said, I love this idea of discovering our shape, because it allows the people in the church to find out really where their strengths are, where they're uniquely gifted and talented, and able to plug in within the life of the church. And that just gives the person so much more ownership within the life of the church. Really gives them a place to connect and be a part of something fantastic. A lot of this for me stems just my own experience in church. As a teenager, I had the opportunity to go on short-term mission trips, and so for a couple summers through my high school, early adult years, I was able to go to places where the gifts that I have were able to be used in really cool ministry, and that kind of just sparked for me that desire to do things within the church, to even consider a career within the church. Along with that, I spent a lot of time working at church camps, and working my way up from the junior counselor to assistant director to co-director to full out director, and again, just using gifts that I've been given to do things in ways that had a huge impact on other people's lives. And that just added to my own desire to see my gifts be used within the church. And that just continued through my young adult. When I felt that call in my life to go into full-time ministry, my parents and my church embraced that, and I was able to participate in ministry. To go from high school right into seminary for a while, to go from there right into full-time ministry. That's just something that's always kind of fueled my passions, and so when I think about people within our churches, I'm really passionate about them using their gifts and their talents to serve within the church, because I just think that's what we've been created to do. So this past Sunday we talked about discovering your shape, and shape is another one of those concepts where you break down S.H.A.P.E, and each of those things stand for something. And again, I don't take credit for this. This is not my brilliant creativity thinking this up. This was from someone else. So I'm not taking credit for developing this. But I have used this for years in student ministry and have seen tremendous success from it. And so now as I make the transition into senior pastor, I want to see the same type of success happen in the lives of adults. And so we are incorporating this S.H.A.P.E model, this S.H.A.P.E tool as part of our discipleship and development at Harvest Church. So what I want to do is set aside the next couple days to talk about each of these. And I'm not going to go into great depth about the first one today as much as I'll talk about it probably tomorrow and then go through the rest of the letters. But the whole thing starts with S, and S stands for spiritual gifts. And spiritual gifts just comes with a huge kind of bucket full of stuff. And a whole lot of discussion and debate about what spiritual gifts actually look like. And I don't want to get into that as much as what I want to ask you is, are you aware of your spiritual gifts? Do you know that you have spiritual gifts that have been given to you by God for you to use for His purpose? I mean, are you aware of that? And if you are, do you know what your gifts are? Do you know how He has uniquely gifted you to serve? I find that in more conservative churches that don't really stress the teaching of spiritual gifts, there are a lot of people who just don't know what their spiritual gifts are. And so the first thing I would like to encourage you, if you don't know what your spiritual gifts are, you need to find out what they are. And there's a number of ways to do that. There are a number of tests that you can take that's through, I don't even know how they come up with this because it's just beyond my thinking. But you answer a bunch of questions and they somehow formulate your responses, and from that generate, here are what your spiritual gifts might be, or what they are, or what they could be. And usually most tests will highlight the top 3 that you score the highest in, and they'll say most likely these are your spiritual gifts. This past Sunday I suggested one to the church, and there'll be a link right underneath of this video where you can click on that, and it's a free test. I've been snooping through this guy's website and kind of like the material that he's provided when it comes to spiritual gifts and defining them and allowing you to see how they can be used. And his test, I took it, and it nailed me perfectly. I mean, I've taken a number of tests, so I kind of know what my spiritual gifts are, but I took his and it picked out my top 3, which are generally my top 3. And so what I want to encourage you with today, just as we start this new mini-series for this week, is to encourage you to discover first what your spiritual gifts are. Because you can't figure out where you fit within the ministry of your church until you know where you're gifted, what it is that you've been created to do. So use the link below, take the test. I'll also put underneath the test link another link that gives definitions to all of the spiritual gifts so that you can go ahead and read that. And then later on, as we talk about the S.H.A.P.E tool, I'm going to share the S.H.A.P.E inventory that I've adapted for the use of Harvest Church. And I'll put that probably a little bit later on this week for you to have. But first, just find out what your spiritual gifts are. What it is that God has given to you, gifted to you to use for His purpose and His glory in the church. So be sure to check in all week long as we talk about this. Like the Habits mini-series that we did a week or so ago, it's another thing that I'm just really passionate about and excited to talk about. So we'll probably go 10-minute long videos, so just so you know, just because I usually have a lot to say about that. So do that, and then check in every day this week as we talk about this. And of course, if you like the video, go ahead and thumbs up on it for me, and that'd be great. I'd also encourage you to subscribe if you have not yet subscribed to the channel. That way you get the daily updates as they come out. And of course, be sure to visit the website, jhyam.com. You're going to find the link to that site, and that's where you're going to find the test link. So yeah, looking forward to this week. Hope you stick around and join us for this, and that this week is helpful for you. And that's about it for now. We'll see you tomorrow, and we'll talk more about your spiritual gifts. See you then.